there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with this one. But oh boy, her writing is just so beautiful. It's immersive, it's descriptive, it is mesmerizing. It gives me just, I can savor it like a good wine. It's just beautiful. Here. Hello guys, welcome back to my booktube channel, and here I am with my first wrap up in the March. I have read quite a few books. I wanted to do a March TBR, but we're kind of halfway past the March. We're already nearing towards the end of the March, so I'm gonna do March wrap up part 1 because I've already read 5 books, so I'm gonna talk about 5 books. So basically, this little library haul that I did for March reading. All of these books are from the library because I do like to take books from the library to see whether I do want to add them on my shelf, because sometimes all the hype and excitement about a new book gets me excited, and then I go and get it and I'm really truly disappointed. This way, if I take them from the library, I am not disappointed, and if I do want to add it on my shelf, I can go and get it. So yeah, let's get in these books. So the first book I read was Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, and this was a young adult fantasy. And I would say that this is a great fantasy if you haven't read anything in a fantasy genre, so this is a great one to start with. This is a loose retelling of a goose girl, and we follow our main protagonist here, Vanya, who is impersonating Princess Giselle. She was Princess Giselle's servant, and we don't quite know how she has acquired this role of a Giselle. She looks like Giselle, and so basically we follow her, and she travels to various parties in this world and attends rich people gatherings while also stealing from them. She's also known as the thief called Red Penny. Obviously no one knows that it is her who is the Red Penny thief. So an investigator is sent from higher up in the government to investigate these Red Penny murders, and we start our story from there. Trigger warnings for a lot of trauma, child abuse, child neglect, loneliness, and understanding one's traumas and trying to deal with them in the way you think is the best way for you. So it was truly really well written book. There is quite a lot of information in the first 120 pages of the book, because we are introduced to the world, to the magic, to the creatures that live in this world, and different titles. So there's a glossary at the end of the book, so just keep that in mind, guys, if you do want to pick it up and understand a little bit, because I did struggle a little, and it did feel like I'm stumbling a little bit through those 100 pages, but after that, great. Hats off. It was an excellent book. The illustrations in this one are really gorgeous as well, so thank you to my library. I definitely want to add this to my shelves, so it is added to my Amazon wishlist. There you have it, guys. We'll put it here, so we'll make a pile here with the books that I've read. The next book that I read was Catriona Ward, Little Eve. I picked this book up because I read The Last House on the Needle Street last month by Catriona Ward, and it was excellent. It was 5 stars. I think it's going to be one of my favorite books this year. And obviously I wanted to check out what this writer has written, what other books this writer has written. And yes, again, Little Eve, excellent, excellent book. I do have to say, it did remind me a little bit of The Beloved by Toni Morrison, even though the stories are completely different, but the writing style, in it's almost bordering on literary fiction, so that writing style reminded me of The Beloved by Toni Morrison. However, the story here is completely different. It is set in Scottish moors in a lonely, isolated castle, and there are these bunch of children in this castle. They're just running around wild and free, and they are ruled and governed by this mysterious uncle figure. This uncle rules this household by an iron fist, and he has a very specific religion that he demands the children to follow. How can I describe this book? It kept me mesmerized, it kept me hooked. There were parts when I was reading and I didn't understand what I was reading because it did get a little bit convoluted at times, but if you guys get through to the ending. You will understand why it is the way it is. And wow, 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 Catriona, you did it again. I loved it. Not as much as I loved the Last House on the Needless Street, but again, brilliant, 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 brilliant. So I gave this book 4.25. However, this story will stay with you. I feel like Catriona's writing has that power to remain with you for a very, very long time. And her stories are quite unique and definitely atmospheric. Like, her books, I've only read 2 so far, are incredibly atmospheric, creepy, and will keep you at the edge of your seat. Honestly, it's just great. So yeah, I gave this book 4.25, I would say. 4.25 stars. And I'm sorry, I completely forgot. For Little Thieves, I gave, again, yeah, 4.25. I thought, just because the beginning it was a bit slower, but 4.25 for this one too. So quite good reading, so you know, we started quite well. The next book I read was Crave by Tracy Wolff, and this is the first book in Crave series, I think. I think there are 4 books out right now, and this has been doing rounds around the booktube, and it is compared to Twilight. I understand why. I do understand why. This book has major Twilight nostalgia vibes. I mean, we have Katmere Academy, we have our main protagonist Grace, who arrives at Katmere Academy to stay with her uncle and her cousin because her parents are killed, and there she obviously encounters a lot of supernatural beings who are studying in this academy. Obviously she doesn't know about it, she only discovers it after, and she falls in love with this main guy of the academy who's a vampire called Jackson. And very insta-lovey, full of cliches, full of tropes. The language is... I was rolling my eyes and I was cringing often in this book. However, saying all that, I did still enjoy it. I gave it a 3, maybe 3.25 stars. So I did read it very quickly. It's a good time. It gave me sort of Twilight nostalgia, you know? Like, I did like it for that reason, I think. Am I gonna continue with the series? I don't know. It's very tropey, and I have to say the writing style is a bit weak, maybe. Do I want it on my shelves? No. If I can get it from the library or as an ebook, I might continue with the series, but do I want it on my shelves? No. Sorry guys, like, if you are fans of this, it's not mine. It's a young adult fantasy, so even though sometimes I do enjoy young adult books, but this one is too cringy, I feel like, for me. I'm not sure if I will continue with the series. However, I did enjoy this one for what it was. But I would say don't go with high expectations on this one, because it's there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with this one. But there you have it. That's 3.5. No, not even 3.5. 3.25. That's how far we can go with this one. So yeah. And the next book that I read was Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. And again, this is a young adult rom-com, and I was just expecting a fluffy romance, wholesome, sweet, young love, angst, all of that thing. I did get all that. However, I also think that Nicola Yoon has put a lot of elements here that are a little bit harder hitting, and I did enjoy it for that reason much more. So I do recommend it. We follow again, Eve, I think? Yeah, we follow Evie Thomas in this book, who is a senior at her high school, and she is also dealing with her parents' divorce. She is so disappointed in love that she decides to get rid of all of her romance books. She decides to get rid of all of her romance books, and she takes all the books to the local little library that is near her house. She leaves all the books there, but there is this mysterious older woman standing there, and she says, well, if you get rid of all of these books, you need to take a book as well, because that's how it is, give and take. So Evie just takes one book that is there, and it's called Instructions for Dancing, and we start our story from there. This has magical realism, like a little bit of magical elements to it, because by taking this book, Evie starts to see visions. Whenever she sees a couple kissing, it triggers the vision in her where she's able to see how the couple has met, how the couple is now and how the couple is going to end their relationship, and she thinks it's a curse, and she becomes even more jaded about everything. However, she takes this book back to the dance studio where it's originally from, and again we start our story from there. She meets this mysterious guy named X. Yeah, his name is X. And you know, just maybe Evie will decide that love is worth it, that love is worth risking. You know, love is worth the risk. So do pick it up. I loved it. I gave it 3.5. I feel just because the writing was a little bit on the simpler side, I couldn't give it more, but I think it was still really enjoyable. I think that if I would be younger, maybe early 20s or 18 or 19, I would have enjoyed this book much more. So I don't think I'm really the right audience for it. However, young adult books are quite easy to get through, so that's why they are great fillers in between books for me. So do pick it up if you think that that's something you might like. There we go. The file is getting bigger. And the last book that I read so far in March is by my queen, Silvia Moreno-Garcia, Certain Dark Things. She did it again. Guys, Mexican Gothic was one of my favorite books of last year. I gave it 5 stars. And this is a completely different story, but oh boy, her writing is just so beautiful. It's immersive, it's descriptive, it is mesmerizing. It gives me just, I can savor it like a good wine. It's just beautiful. Here we follow a scrappy garbage collector kid, Domingo. It is set in Mexico City, this story, and this garbage kid one day notices this beautiful woman who actually turns out to be a vampire on the run. Other vampire clans have killed her family, and now she is trying to escape, and she meets this kid, and they kind of end up journeying together through the Mexico City, trying to get out of Mexico City. In this world, vampires are as an accepted norm. People know that they exist. There are different clans. They're allowed to live in different cities, in different countries. There are some cities that have banned vampires completely, so they're not allowed to be there. There's a lot of clashes between vampires and humans, so there's like a whole system here. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very original story. I don't think I've read anything like this in a vampire genre. I would say this is like a Godfather, Sin City, and vampires all mixed together. So if you think that's something you might like, then definitely check this book out. It's not a fast read because Silvia Moreno-Garcia's writing, she does write a little bit on a slower pace, but it is so worth it. The only thing I can say why I didn't give this book 5 stars, I gave it 4.25, maybe 4.5. Because it is a little bit harder to get attached to the characters in her writing, and I can't put my finger on it quite what it is. I can't quite feel for them until like much later into the book. So it takes me a while to warm up to them, so I'm not quite sure what that is. So only for that reason I'm kind of just like rating it a little bit down, because from halfway point of the book I was like, yes, love it. And I felt for the characters as well, and I was like, yes, this is it. This is the good stuff. I like it. So yeah, I did give this book 4.25. I would say maybe 4.5 because again, her writing is so incredible, and because the story is so original and full of details, and it does stay with you, so it is really worth a read. I definitely want it on my shelves. So thank you, library. This is another book I have added to my Amazon wish list, and I want it on my shelves. So she's so good. She's so good. I am very excited to read Velvet Was the Night as well because she is brilliant. I love her. So there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.